Well guys, if you watched my last video, I am still here at the Truck Parking Club clubhouse. It's Sunday night. I leave out tomorrow to go pick up my load, and I got to hang out here this weekend with a really awesome guy. And there are some pretty cool trucks inside this garage that I'm heading into. I think you're really gonna love it. You know, so much you guys love the trucking history. Well, there is a 1978 International Transstar in there that's being worked on, and there is a 1990 Kenworth, which it doesn't seem that old, but it is a K100 Aerodyne sleeper cabover. So let's go in here and see what's happening. All right, guys, so I told you outside this was going to be pretty awesome. I told him when I was walking up, I said there is some cool stuff going on inside there. And this guy, because nobody knows him, is Chad Keegan. And I talked to... Yeah, the infamous Chad Keegan. I talked about him in my last video, and that he was working on this International, and you got to go there and check it out. And the International is right there, and you can't see it. But I will show it at the end of the video, and then I will talk more about Chad Keegan's channel and where you go to see it, or on the Truck Parking Club channel. Because this is the Truck Parking Club compound. This is going to be something else someday, but right now they bought a Transstar. They wanted a cabover truck.
Yep, I was coming back from Davisville or something like that, outside of Atlanta, bringing a stack of chassis up north, going home, because I was just down here in about 2 hours away in Georgia, helping my buddy with his Aerodyne that he's getting ready to take to Matt's. And next thing you know, I'm like, man, I want to stop at the clubhouse and see them. I come down through Chattanooga, and you can't really see it at night going south.
Yep.
So I got a hold of Michael Lombard, and I said, hey dude, who all frequents at the clubhouse? He's like, blah blah blah, starts rattling off some names. He's like, I'm at the clubhouse. I'm like, dude, send me the address. I'm like an hour and a half away. I'll be there by this time. And next thing you know, I said, so I'm sitting there texting him when I'm like 15 minutes out, so he can, because he's like, yeah, I'll shoot you coming in and stuff. So I'm like, cool. So I pulled up here, next thing you know, hung out with them all day, and they checked out Frank, and then or Frankenstein, if you will. And Lombard's like, Reed is like, man, we're looking for a cabover. And I'm like, I can get you a cabover. And Evan's like, you can get us a cabover? I'm like, I can get you a cabover, dude. There's like 25 minutes from my house. So I looked up, and it was gone. The thing had been sitting there for like 4 years. And every time I go down 24 towards Toledo, I always pull the camera out like, yep, that truck's still sitting there. That truck's still sitting there. The guy dropped the price $500, so that truck was gone. But then there was another Transstar that I had shot off of 30 in the summertime. I stopped and I, did a shoot with that, and just was like, hey, this truck's for sale. Because anytime I see a cabover, I try to put them out there, because everybody's like, can you find me a cabover? Do you know where there's a cabover? Yeah. Pick up your smartphone, go to Facebook, click Marketplace, and type in cabover, and probably you're going to find maybe 30 within the 200-mile radius that your thing is.
That's true. I live in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I actually do it sometimes just to see what's out there. Yeah, I'm not actually...
I mean, you could, though, if you wanted something just to have as a yard ornament, you could easily do that. And, a lot of people are just scared to do that. It's really not that hard. All you got to do is pick up your smartphone and Google. Just the same thing with parts. You need a part, instead of asking somebody, hey, what's the part number? Pick up your smartphone and look for it yourself. Do some research, people. So yeah, I was like, look, here's a couple. This was a Wednesday. I said, I deliver Thursday morning. Let me go home and just relax for the day. I'll find you one on Friday, or I'll start making some phone calls. So I seen this one Friday morning, and I messaged the guy and I said, hey, here's my number, can you give me a call? And he's like, well, it's not mine, I just listed it from a boss. He's a farmer, I'll have him call you. I said, okay, cool. So the guy calls me, we talk about the truck, he gives me a little history of it, and I'm like, that sounds very good.
Yep.
And so I call Hunter, and he's like, yeah, we'll see if you can get it for less. And I'm like, I'll do what I can, dude. So I call the guy back, and I'm like, hey, this is right before Christmas, the weekend before Christmas. I said, is there any way I can come tomorrow and look at it? I'm kind of interested, and I have some friends that might be interested. So he's like, yeah, but I got a thing going on at noon, so you have to be there. I said, I'll be there at 8. He's 2 hours away in Muncie, Indiana from where I live in Defiance. So I cruise down there. I'm in there at like 5 after 8. I let him know I'm going to be there and stuff. He's like, cool, I'll be out at the shop. I'm like, okay. So then I get there and he gives me the history. I do a little shoot with him. So if you go to my YouTube channel, Chad Keegan, it's just Chad Keegan. That's it. Nothing other than Chad Keegan, you know. No spectacular names. It's just Chad Keegan.
After you've made sure you watch every video I ever posted, go over to his.
Yeah.
No. I say that all the time when I'm with another YouTuber.
Right.
Like, make sure you watched all my videos. But
yeah, I go over there, he gives me the rundown, and I just like, yeah, dude, I'm taking the truck. Well, I stepped out and I talked to Hunter again, and he's like, yeah, I'll see if you can get it for less, because he says the poor best offer. I said, I understand that, dude, but he already dropped it down for me $11,500. I'm telling you right now, this truck's worth twice as much as what he's asking because of what it is. So I got it for $7,000 for him, and then I paid cash for it. Yeah, I paid cash for it, and then I told it, I got the title signed over to my name because I paid cash for it.
I actually didn't know that until he just told me.
I paid cash for it out of my pocket. And
I would have said 20 or 25.
No. Nope, he had it listed for $11,500, and he dropped it down to $7,500, and I got it for $7,000. So
my God.
The thing about the truck is, when they had it listed, they had 133,000 miles on it, but they didn't say that it was a local truck and original.
Right.
You know, they didn't give the full history until I seen it, and I was like, yeah, dude, this truck only has 133,000 original miles on it. This thing is cherry gold mine right here. Yeah. And for what it is, it's a solid, nice truck. It's got the bones are good. There's just a few dings here and there on the body, but the frame, there's rust jacking under the fifth wheel. Other than that, man, it's the straightest truck and the cleanest thing I'd ever seen for being an old truck. And I've got in a ton of old trucks, and I own 2 old trucks. I've owned 3 old trucks. And besides, you know, scraping the grease off and having to change out some 10, 20 Daytons over to 22, 5 Daytons, this thing is immaculate.
Wow.
Yeah, it just blew my mind. So I told him, I'm like, man, I feel like the Grinch that just stole Christmas, and I got him a hell of a deal. So I picked that up for him, and then took it to the house. I went back the next Monday and had the kids take me over and drove it home, but I could only go 58 because the tires were 2015 for the steers, and then the drives were 2002 and 2003.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, they were horrible. But when we pulled the Daytons off, in the hubs, there's openings, and they're full of mouse stuff, so that's probably throwing the balance off. Not to mention somebody tried to weld some balancers on the steer tire drums and stuff, and I'm like, what are you doing? But then the stuff is so old, and there's a pretty significant dent or rub on the driver's side steer, and they're aluminum, so it's probably throwing off some balance.
Gotcha.
But I got new steers put on it up at the house, and then I started cleaning it out, like some of the mouse shit that was falling on my head, because there's a hole right above your head where there was a big ass, you know, mouse house.
And where are you from again?
Defiance, Ohio.
Home is Defiance, Ohio. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm about 483 miles away from here, something like this, like 8 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can get there a little bit quicker if I'm in a car, but in a truck, it's about 9.5 because I got to stop for fuel and stuff, and just to get out and relax once in a while.
It's because you drive a Cabover.
Maybe it's because, well, I got to take a 10-100 too. I just can't climb back in the bunk and
Yeah.
stand up and take a leap.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You got to go find
There's
someplace.
no cruise on that. I got to keep track of the throttle lock. So
I can tell you that you know, my analytics on YouTube show that I told you I do a lot of history videos of old trucking companies, and I've met so many great people, but a lot of my analytics show that the majority of my subscribers are over 65 years old.
Yeah.
And so many of them have reached out to me. I've talked to so many retired truck drivers. So what you're saying right there, everybody's like, yep, I remember that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what it is too, and most of mine are too. Most of mine are older guys that enjoy the nostalgia of what I'm doing, because I basically try to do it like they would have back in the day. Now, this truck's a 90. I know 90 isn't back in the day, and some of your guys are probably going to be thinking, oh, that whippersnapper.
I actually said that on the way in. I said
doesn't-
90 doesn't seem old, but it's actually a K100 with an Aerodyne sleeper.
Yeah, he doesn't, those weren't the good old days. Yeah, I understand the 60s and 70s were, but I wasn't even born then, so unfortunately I missed out on that stuff. I was born in 1980, and I just tried to go back and relive like they would even in the 90s. It was better in the 90s than it was in the 2000s, and it was better in the 2000s than it was in 2010s. But if I could go back to the 80s and 90s, I definitely would.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't build stuff like they did back then. The quality just isn't as good. It's all throwaway stuff, or it's
I think they did pretty good in 06, but that's just me.
Lombard was saying it's all OE. You know, all the OE manufacturers want to control you with all the technology and stuff they're putting into things. It's like they build software to where you have to plug it in. Only the manufacturers in their dealership has the software that they can fix your stuff only. So you can't work on your own stuff. Now, if that truck breaks down on the side of the road, you're damn right I got the tools in the side box to fix that, and I'm going to do everything I can. I'm not calling nobody unless it's somebody to bring me parts. Other than that, I carry everything on me I have to, because I don't want somebody else messing with my truck. I'd rather put my hands on that truck and know that I did that versus take it somewhere and think that somebody did something, because there's too many times where, unfortunately, younger people say they know how to do something and then they don't do it the right way, and then you still have the problem that you took it in for, and you also have a bill that you're eating. So
yep, my mechanic Jesse at Double D Diesel, in Pennsylvania, I talk about them all the time.
I love anybody with the initials Double D. That's the first thing
that
I say.
actually isn't their initials. There's only one D in all of it.
Really?
It's his wife's company, and she allowed him, and she spent a lot of money at one point in her life on some surgery, and she decided to call it Double D Diesel Repair.
Hey, yes. I like it.
Yes.
I like anybody with double D in their name or on their body.
Yeah, shout out to you, Deanna, who owns the company and runs the company. Everything
hilarious.
And everything stays, she gets the right parts ordered for you. Jesse does the work. He just recently got her husband Jesse. It's her husband Jesse does the work, and he just recently got towed in a Freightliner Cascadia. It was a bit of a wreck. It was actually a guy's spare truck. They said his main truck is a nice Peterbilt, but it had a problem with a sensor. They bought the sensor, put it in, it didn't work. Come to find out, it had to go to, they actually had to have it towed to, or I don't know if they have yet, but it's going to have to get towed to Freightliner.
So they can
Freightliner's going to have to do a road call to them to program it.
Yep.
And they have great systems. They just bought, after that shop, they bought a crazy Snap-on, like for the newer stuff, the crazy amount of money they paid for this computer. But it's not going to do the individual manufacturers like that. And it's ridiculous.
That's what it just detours me away from trucking and anything technology. I enjoy my smartphone because I can run multiple businesses from it. I can find anything I want to, and I don't have to sit there and climb on a computer to try to get on, dial-up or anything like that. I can do it all from my phone if I'm in somewhere besides BFE and I have service. If you don't know what that means, you should probably look it up. But I'm sure anybody that's watching that knows what BFE means.
Yep, they know. Yeah. my truck has Starlink on it.
Okay. Yeah, I
actually mounted a Starlink in. I got so sick and tired of not being able to
have service,
being in a bad place, or having unlimited service. Unlimited is not unlimited. It runs out of data, especially when you're uploading.
How have you ever been to a truck stop to where you have no service because they derate the service because they want you to buy their Wi-Fi?
Yep.
Man, I don't know how many times I've done that, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. But then I'll walk, or I'll get on a bike and go a few miles away, and I'm like, well, I got great service here. The next exit down, I have service. But here at this truck stop where all the commodities are that I need, I don't have service, and I can't run my business. I can't get on the load boards. I can't send emails. I can't send text messages. I can't receive anything.
I got so sick and tired of it, and then trying to upload videos when I was on the road, I was running out of data. That I had some friends. In fact, it was last year at Matt's, and we have some friends, Scott and Mandy Weedman. They're team drivers, and they are true team drivers. They ran forever team, and finally got to the point where they could buy. They have a Freightliner Cascadia that has a 156-inch sleeper and ARI sleeper. And with that, they bought the Starlink for the roof because they're big college football fans, and they were tired of being places that they couldn't watch.
Yeah, the games they wanted to.
And he said, "I love it." Yeah. And I left Matt's, and I was so mad. I was actually still at Matt's, over in the field, and I couldn't down, and then it slowed me down and said I was out of, you know, I had all these videos from the truck show. And I called the wife. I said, I'm going to get Starlink for the truck. I'll show you that, guys, at some point, the Starlink that I have.
Okay, so you were asking, right before we got on camera, I was showing him some pictures of what Frank looked like original. And I'll send them to him so he can throw some overlays up for this video. In 2019, I was looking for an Aerodyne because I have a 1983 flat top. That is a spring ride truck. That was my first truck I ever bought in 2018. So in 2000, and I started running it in 2019, but I was like, man, this thing's beat me up. I need air ride because I was pulling containers. And guys with bald super singles would drop their bags and they drop them super low, and I couldn't get under them. So, and I shredded a quarter shaft on my truck. So I'm like, yeah, I have to, you know, get something with air. So I was looking for an Aerodyne because I wanted an Aerodyne, a day cab, in a flat top K100. That's what I wanted. I don't know why, I just became obsessed when I first bought the blue truck, which is the 83 flat top. So I almost had one that was local to me, and then the guy right day before I went to buy it, he says, oh, my friend, I'm gonna sell it to my friend because, you know, he was the first one that asked it, and he came in and said he wanted it. So, but I would have rather sold it to you because I know you would have done something with it instead of just leaving it sit. So I'm like, whatever, dude. So for like 2 weeks, I'm dickering with this dude. So then I found this one, and it was over in Delaware. So I dickered with this guy for a couple weeks, and we rented a car because he had gotten two of Delaware, the state.
Yeah.
He had gotten two of the...
That's right, there is a Delaware, Ohio. Yeah. I forgot that.
Well, that's why I was making sure, because Delaware, the state, is way farther than Delaware,
yes,
Ohio.
Yes, it is.
And
I live closer to Delaware than I do to Defiance. So
yeah, they somebody had stolen two of the drives. So, and he said the steers were bad. So I ordered two new 22.5 aluminum steer rims, and then I went up to the shop and had them put on. Then we rented the smallest, tiniest compact we could, and it was like a brand new Nissan something. So I take the passenger seat out because I have to get one in the back seat, and I have to stick one in the trunk. We packed it up and we went. We get to the dude's house, we do the deal. He had somebody come over and throw the steers on. I drove it, and I'm like, yeah, it shifts good. You know, it shifts like a newer truck versus what I was used to, the 83. This has cable shift, the other one has a shaft shift for this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it drives great. And it's got airbag, dump, you name it. So I'm like, okay, plus it's got 2 bunks, so why not bunk bed it? We're leaving the guy's house, and we are not even 100, 200 yards down the road, and the top of the stack falls off and drops down between the frame and cuts the airline, so I have no brakes.
Oh my God.
And my wife is just losing it. And then the dude pulls up behind, and I'm outside looking at, and I just throw the stack in the background, and he's like, oh, the truck stop's down there, because he's like, you'll need to go down the truck stop. It's about 2 miles away, because he was supposed to put diesel in it, but he never did. So I'm worried about running out of fuel, and now I got no brakes. So we get it down there, and I had to cross 4 lanes. I had to go across 4 lanes and make a left-hand turn. And then finally, when I get to the fuel stop, I just rolled it in there, and I stopped right to where I could fill it up. And then I just, after I was done, I drove it and just bonked against the curb, and I bounced back, and it rolled to a stop, and I just was losing it. My wife gets out of the truck. She says, I'm not getting in that truck again until those brakes are fixed and I know everything's okay. So she goes inside this little rinky-dink truck stop where they have some booths and stuff, and she asks the people in the kitchen, she says, do you have a rag that I can start cleaning with, because I'm about to lose my shit. So she's doing that. The dude's running me uptown to go get a fitting that I can just, you know, throw, like a shark fitting. I can just throw them together real quick. So we go up, it's the wrong size. We go back, we find the right size, and I had fabbed it up to where it would work, and it was holding. So I got the brakes going, and we end up going to what is the capital? Dover? Of Delaware.
I think it's, I don't know.
Anyways.
Wow, that's a state next to ours, and I don't know. I think it's Wilmington, but.
I don't know. We go up to the Capitol, and we stayed at some restaurant or some hotel where there was a sports bar next door, and everything was okay. So the next day we're going back on 30, because we're just taking 30 because I didn't want to jump on the interstate and pay the tolls, which was stupid because I should have. And we're going, you know, it's a 2-lane, windy as crap, and we're getting ready to go up to this S curve, and the pedal stopped on me. And I look over and I said, the pedal's stuck. And I was sitting there trying to go-kart it with my heel and it wouldn't go. So finally I reached down as I'm drifting around the corner like this, you know, full blast, and I just pull it up and I'm just like, oh my God.
You said you're not a country guy, but the old song Wolf Creek Pass just started playing in my head when you said kind of like stuffing on a plum.
Yeah, and I'm just like, Judas Priest, and I look over here and she's just laughing mad, but the truck was a complete mess. The dude had hand painted it with lime green Sherwin-Williams outdoor paint with a paintbrush.
Keep talking,
He
I'm gonna
laid
check
it
the
on
battery on this.
super thick. Yeah, if you need to, I can pull the charger over.
Oh no, I got extra battery and stuff. I just want to make this. I'm kind of new to the Hero 12 because I did have Hero 8s and their batteries get torn up, but this one still in good shape. So.
Oh yeah. What are you at? What's your percentage? Looks like about 85.
76 it said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Close.
So, yeah, we're good. I carried a spare
here.
battery in. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, like I said, guys, I'm new to this camera, so I didn't even realize.
Boom, you got both. You're
My
good
old
on
one
both.
didn't show it all on the front. I still got the mount in the truck. I use them for road shots, but I don't.
So yeah, and even with that paint being so thick, he had painted over the moss and stuff because the truck had sat for like 9 years. So as soon as I got it home and pressure washed it, because we drove home without that stack. I left it in the back of his truck. So we had the muffler and then exhaust shooting up the back of the truck, the cab and stuff. So I pressure washed the truck because that's the first thing I do is clean out that and a bunch of mouse shit. There was mouse shit all over, just falling. Oh, every time we hit a bump, they would fall down on her, and they were old Kenworth seats and they were all chewed up and stuff, and it was just rough. So yeah, it was.
Is this a factory dual exhaust? Or
no,
when
it had a single.
It had a single.
It
when
had
you
a
got
single.
It, yeah.
Well, yeah, when I got it, because when I first changed everything up, I just threw a 5-inch, 96-inch stack on there.
Yeah.
And I left it single, and everybody's like, "Won't you dual it?" I'm like, "Cause I'm just trying to put a truck together so I can work it. I'm not necessarily trying to take it to shows and be Big Daddy Cool or anything like that. I didn't really care. I just wanted something that was more comfortable than my spring ride truck that I was riding in, because I needed more comfort and things to make my life easier while I was working. You know, pulling the containers, because I needed to be able to drop. Plus, that was on 22.5, so I was lower to the ground. I would much rather jack down a 48,000 pound loaded 53-foot container than try to jack it up to be able to get under it, because I can drop the bags worst case scenario, you know, and then I can lift it up if I have to. If it's too low, I can drop it to where I can slide under there and lift it up with ramps and stuff. But you get something that's on tall 24 rubbers and your spring ride truck, you're not dropping down anything and your tires up too high. So it was a convenience thing for me to switch to this truck, but it is super comfortable. And the way I have it now, I've got 2 Bostrom seats in there. So those things are like recliners, you know, sitting in a recliner. It's got the cab air ride. The blue truck didn't have cab air ride. It was just the regular cab mount until I added it to there. So that helps a little bit. But these trucks are both short wheelbase, so I don't need 15 acres to turn around. You know, I can just whip the things around. Plus, I can pull into any parking lot and back into a spot. My trucks are shorter than like those extended Super Duty work cab trucks. You know, these are shorter than those long bed trucks.
What is the wheelbase on
this one's 165, the other one's 156. So
wow.
Yeah, this one's about 156 too. It's about the same. It's basically the same truck as the blue truck, except it's older and a different manufacturer.
Talking about that one, the one we're not showing you.
You might get to see some trim pieces on the floor that I just took off. But
we'll see.
That was a journey, and then like the whole paint thing and stuff like that. And then I got to drive that truck for 6 months after I got it done, and some jackwad was dicking around on his phone and just blew a red light or a stop sign in the middle of the country, and I ended up having a collision with him and climbed out of it, and I lost that truck for another 8 months because it was right before COVID. So they weren't pressing steel for the bumper I had to wait 16 weeks for. And the Kenworth dealership, since I was an owner-operator and my truck wasn't the nicest one and I wasn't a fleet guy paying the bills, and the insurance was taking care of it, somebody else's insurance was taking care of it, they could give 2 shits less about my truck. So I was basically on the back burners. And boy, did that irritate me. And it was like Christmas the day I got that truck back. But I didn't, the only thing they could get was that panel. I had to go to Pennsylvania to get the ladder I had to go to Pennsylvania to get the headlight panel right there, and then I got some black interior. The fans I got out of a truck or got from a guy, and then everything else, you know, the bumper was fresh, and that is like a C model style of bumper versus the E model is wider and about 2 inches bigger on each side. Yeah, it would have stuck out a lot farther. Plus, it had the circles and the squares, and the C models just had the circles. But I could have thrown some fog lights in there, but I like to step on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing has been through. I've honestly redone this truck 3 times since I've owned it, and I painted it last year in my driveway. I'd never painted anything with an actual gun and mixing paint, stuff like that, but I'm kind of creative and I like a challenge. So I spent many nights losing sleep over, can I paint this truck? Is it going to turn out like shit? What's it going to look like? Am I going to fail? Am I going to have to do it over again? But literally took me 2 weeks to sand all that green out. Then I primed the truck. And then I didn't like the primer because there was a bunch of orange peel in it because I didn't mix it good enough. And then I ended up sanding that all down. And then I was finally like, you know what, pissed on it. I have to do this. Either I'm going to do this or I'm not going to do it. So then I painted the truck silver. Got some Intercoat clear, and I mixed some green metal flake in there. And I sprayed that, and then I sprayed clear over it. And then I did all the pinstriping by hand, freehand, without any tape. I've never done that before. It was just something that I wanted to do because I painted with like oil paints and acrylic and stuff like that. You know, I've done like paintings of my trucks and stuff and Bob Ross stuff to where you blend and mix stuff. But I'm like, yeah, I want to try this out, and I really don't care. You know, and the thing about it is crazy is
I got real close with some of your pinstriping, so they're watching it right now.
Yeah,
you know, show how raw everything was.
I did this in my driveway. That's not completely level. The truck wasn't level because the bags were down, and it was like walking up the hill. Sometimes I'm on nothing but a step ladder, you know. Sometimes it was 9 o'clock in the morning where I'm all coffee jitters. Sometimes it was 7 o'clock at night where I might have had a few buckies in me. So, in like, yeah, it was interesting, and I mean, nothing's perfect. And this truck basically to me is Frankenstein the monster because it has a bunch of different parts on it from different trucks and stuff like that. And it just, when I first got it, that green, I didn't know what to call it. And then once I started cutting into it and sanding it, that's the first thing that popped to mind. The green was like a Frankenstein, the monster color. So I'm like, that's what it's going to be. I'm just going to call it Frankenstein, but Frank for short.
Guys, he doesn't know about my yellow Kenworth. I'm going to have to show him the truck that Kenworth used to call Franken truck.
Yeah. Yeah, I just...
But also the and I took some close-ups, they're watching it right now, like the trim and everything, the black trim, the battery box of your whole frame. You use that
translucent.
Clear,
yeah, it's just a rattle can that you get at Walmart, just translucent stuff. I thought it would be cool when I first started doing the truck. I thought, man, I pull a lot of carnival rides because I do power only moves.
Yeah.
So and I love the old lights and the flashy stuff. It reminds me of when I was a kid going to the carnivals and stuff and the you know, different places, getting the roach clips with the feathers on them, the glass mirrors, Guns N' Roses, you know, Madonna, you name the stuff. Riding the Gravitron and almost puking because you're flipping around upside down and stuff like that. But yeah, I thought I want to do it like that. And I wanted it to be old school to where it looked like something that would have been drove back then. And that was my goal. And that's why I have the white steel wheels on, because
white steel wheels, the simulators, that is so 80s. You know, even that's actually before this. Well, I guess 90 would have still.
Yeah, those are new old stock too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun, it's interesting, it gets a lot of looks, but then, you know, the guys that spend $200,000 on a show truck to build it from the frame up restoration kind of turn their nose at me, but at the same time, I don't really care. I'm one guy doing everything. So.
I get complaints, especially from a lot of you, every year when I go to Matt's and I start posting the shorts of the big fancy trucks. And I like it. I do. I like the $500,000 trucks. But I have more respect for the working trucks. You know, I talked about Sinister 70. Actually, last night I said it was called Sinister 359. It's actually called Sinister 70 because it's a 70 359. I'll show you the video then that I took of it. But it is really an awesome truck. But that's what you guys are always saying you want to see, trucks like this, and that is just just cool, man. Buy a K100 and build it in your, build it in your driveway. And
yeah, I've done everything in my driveway. And like I took the fifth wheel off with a come along, and people are like, you can't do that. That's dangerous. I'm like, dude, what do you think they would do back in the day? People that don't have, people that live out in the country that are resourceful, they just use what they can. People used to use trees to jack motors out of cars and stuff like that, and they just
I still know somebody that
somebody
that
throw a 4x4 post up between two tree limbs, and they'd use that as their engine stand because they could pull their car right in there and they'd do work on their engine.
Yep.
And guys are like, well, we're getting a lot of hassle from people on this because I used the come along and then we just slid it off onto some tractor tires on a pallet, and it worked fine. And they're like, that's so unsafe. And I'm like, okay, so if we went and got an engine stand, it'd take me longer to build the engine stand than it did what we did to. And then you got an engine stand on a concrete floor that's got cracks, divots, you catch a rock. That thing's gonna be swinging back and forth. If somebody's hands are in there trying to catch it and it catches between the frames, they're gonna lose their fingers. So what's safe and what isn't safe? Yep. Not to mention,
actually, he's got it on video, and it's your latest video right now, your most recently released video you released on Friday.
No, that was the one where we took it down off of the tires.
Oh yeah, when you took it down off of the tires with the ramp.
Go to the Truck Parking Club YouTube channel, and you can see it's how to remove a fifth wheel without a forklift is the title. But yet people are like, why didn't you just rent a forklift? It would have been easier. Guess what? If we would have rented a forklift, they might have said to us, well, we can't get you one for 2 weeks. Then guess what? 2 weeks goes by, we're sitting here waiting on a forklift. I don't have 2 weeks to wait on a forklift, nor that. I'm not gonna spend somebody else's money on a forklift that we're gonna use one time, because I know how to get them off and get them back on without stuff. I changed the clutch.
I would spend Evan's money on a forklift.
Well, I'm not that guy. And I've told him I would,
either.
But like I changed the clutch out on my sidewalk because I have a gravel driveway. My clutch was going out in the blue truck. I mean, it was toast. So I had got it to where I had just started it in gear, and I moved it around, and I pulled over my walking path, my sidewalk, and I put it in a specific spot where I needed to. I went and bought an engine or transmission jack from Harbor Freight, so I could drop the transmission, and then I used the come along to pull that thing back, and then I used the come along to pull that thing forward, jacked it up, and that's like the amount of money I want to spend on something. But I didn't have to put that together either. That was already put together.
Is that the transmission / motorcycle jack?
No, that was just a transmission.
Oh, was it? Just
I mean, I've seen those ones, but this one is the one that tilts.
You can
Sit there and do the thing and tilt it. But like, and I didn't have to take it to a shop. I was able to do it myself, and it wasn't really that big of a deal. And that's why I make YouTube videos, so people understand that you don't have to spend a bunch of money. You just need to be resourceful.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to take the easy way out, and then we do the stuff, and it's like, wow, it's really not that hard. But I was digging around because there's a little, like, it must have been like a 28-foot box van trailer that was taken down that's on the ground that the guy before here had a bunch of crap in. And I'm out there digging around for, like, I found a bunch of 4x6s and just to see what's out there because I'm curious and I like to go picking.
Yeah.
So I found this old trailer ramp. So that's what we're going to use to put it back on. We're just going to slide it right up. We got a little furniture moving with wheels, one of them little dollies from.
Is that the same trailer ramp you brought it down with?
No.
Off the tires? Oh,
right
okay.
there. See the trailer ramp up
Oh,
here?
yeah, okay.
Yeah, that thing's like 15 feet long.
Yeah.
So no, that's gonna go, I'm just gonna open that door, we're gonna stick it out the back, and we're just gonna run it. We're just gonna walk it right up the back and just, because it's not that bad if somebody's on each side.
Right.
Because when we pulled it down, it was nothing, so going back up, it's not gonna be a big deal. And I'll have something anchoring it from the frame to where if something happens, it's not gonna go rolling back on
absolutely,
them, you know? Or I'll hook my Cushman up to the side of it, and I'll pull it up this way, and I'll have somebody on the other side just walking it up with an anchor, just making sure that it doesn't go, and then have the boys on the side, and we're just gonna walk right up, and it'll be no big deal.
When you guys watch his channel, you need to go back to the beginning of the International when he was packing up to head down here, you know, for a couple of weeks, and he was putting that Cushman on the back of the pup trailer. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
I was dying.
You know, I'm looking online, and you can't get aluminum ramps or loading ramps anywhere in like 2 days. You know, I'm like, I need these now. Because I wanted that Cushman down here because when I came down, I didn't have a vehicle. All I had was a semi, and I don't want to start that thing in a shop because that's what I'm sleeping in down here while I'm working on this. I don't want to start this in a shop every time I need to go to the Circle K or go run and get something. So I brought the Cushman because it's convenient for me where we're located in Ringgold right now at the clubhouse. For me to bounce right uptown, there's food, there's hotels, there's Circle K, there's a grocery store. So yes, I can take the golf cart up because I've got a slow moving sign on it. I've got headlights and I got tail lights.
Yeah, nobody's gonna bother you, you know.
No,
back roads,
them cops, well, these cops around here, they just kind of look at me like, man, look at that sparkle buggy. So I just keep cruising, but yeah, it's just one of those things where you have to be resourceful when you're an owner operator like me. Because that's the only way to do it. I mean, it's fun too. It's fun to be creative. If you're not being creative, what are you being?
You know who's a good resource for parts?
Who's that?
4 State Trucks up in Joplin, Missouri.
Right on. Yeah.
Like how I just swung into a commercial there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just
I've
teasing.
got Frank's got 4 State parts on there. Frank's got those you were talking about the cab clearance lights.
Yes.
I got those from
love
4
them
States.
lights.
The stacks are from 4 States. The mud flaps aren't. They came from Iowa 80, I think.
Well, 4 States want you to be part of the Mafia family.
Hey.
And before that, but anybody watching this, if you actually want 10% off of anything that's not on sale right now, he doesn't have a code, but I do. It's Trucking R10, not case sensitive, and you will get 10% off of anything. But Jeremy wants to talk to you, and he's checked out your channel. And Jeremy is like the god of social media with 4 State, because he goes home at night and just watches YouTube.
Speaking of my channel, if you have kids or grandkids, make sure they're not in the room, because sometimes I'm very vulgar because I am a truck driver and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything for anybody. I'm going to be real with you, and sometimes the F word comes out of my mouth more than once in a sentence. So just be prepared, and I do usually put a warning up if it's too foul. I mean, if an F-bomb slips out, it's no big deal. I'm sure every kid's heard it by now, you know, by the time they're popping out the womb with schools and, you know, all that good stuff. So
that was just a mug.
Yeah, don't knock that over. You swapping them out?
What's that? Oh, no, it's still good.
No, I thought you were going to switch your hats out.
Oh, no. Here, this one's for you.
Oh, sweet. Look at that.
Welcome to the Mafia, part of the 4 States family.
Yeah.
And I tell you guys all the time, there's only a few companies I support, and obviously we're sitting here at Truck Parking Club. Do you have a code for Truck Parking Club?
I do. It's Keegan 20 in lowercase. To be honest with you, I'm the very first affiliate.
There you go.
For the Truck Parking Club. I was at, first time I ever met Evan was at the Semi-Casual show. It was probably 4 years ago. And I had the blue truck, and he was standing at the booth, and he's like, I'm telling him about my truck. He's like, oh yeah, I'll have to have Hunter come over and check it out. So you may have seen the video with me in it, but you didn't see the truck because we were just sitting inside. I had long hair, cut off t-shirt, cowboy hat, and I was talking about how I don't run with AC in my trucks because I am a slim guy. Heat don't bother me. I know how to control my body to where in what fluids I need to not sit there and sweat and be dying.
Bothers some of us.
So I don't necessarily run with AC because I want to do it like they would have been back in the day, because yes, my trucks are AC trucks, but not all trucks came with AC. And I'm kind of a hippie, and I like to roll the windows down and just feel the wind flowing, you know, and just live like that. So, you know, and I got ate alive on that by people in the comments, and I'm like, well, good for you, dude. You can run AC in your truck.
It's 20 degrees out there, and I was running the AC today.
I'm sure you were, but like when I get out from a truck and it's 110 degrees outside with 100% humidity, I might as well get out of that truck being used to that, because I don't want to get out of that from AC and just start sweating, you know, and then get back in there and then I'm freezing because I was just sweating. Then I feel all clammy and gross, so I might as well just be gross.
Most of these guys saw a video of me. My air conditioner went out. I had an oversized load I picked up in Dallas. It was going to Phoenix. The air conditioning went out through that. It was It was hot. I want to say it was like the end of September or something, but still way hot in Texas. And
Yeah.
I was just miserable. I'm going down the road like both windows down. I'm like sitting in front. I got a fan in the truck that I used back in the sleeper. And it's like sitting up here blowing on my back. I'm like, I don't know how guys did this.
Yeah, well, I got those 2 fans in the truck and I never even use them. Unless I get stuck in traffic somewhere, that's the only time I kick them on.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I'm rolling down the road, it's not loud in there. My wife is the same way. We don't run AC at our house. Maybe a few months in the summertime when it's super humid at night, I'll throw a couple window shakers in and she'll run them. Other than that, I never sleep with air conditioning at night at my house. I like the windows open so I can hear the traffic coming and going just in case somebody pulls in my driveway. I want to know what's going on.
I turned on my air conditioner in March. Not
Yeah.
usually. Usually we get about a week of open windows and stuff, but it goes like from heat to about a week, and then we're like, nope, air conditioning.
Yeah, I can't do it, man.
Yeah, we are air conditioning people, and
Can't do it.
but yeah. Anyway, so guys, I told you before that if you see me out on the road, ask me, and I have 4 States hats like I just gave to him. I gave one to in my last video, Peter from IMT Trucking. I also have a whole bunch of because we are actually at the headquarters for Truck Parking Club. They love giving out swag, and they give me a whole bunch to give to you.
Nice.
Including these hats, this exact style hat right here. I have about 4 of. So if you see me on the road, you know, stop and ask me. He's not actually wearing the beanie. I was going to bring the beanie in, but there's a black beanie with the Truck Parking Club. I have quite a few of them. That's something everybody
I can go
needs.
put it on if you want me to.
No, it's okay. Why don't you
Okay.
show them your socks? Because I got some of them.
Oh yeah, these
Truck Parking Club socks I have in my truck. If you see me somewhere,
yellow and black.
yellow and black. Ask me for them. What else did they give me? I forget. They give
Probably
me so
a
much
bunch-
stuff, but
some-
ask me for some swag from Truck Parking Club. They love giving it out.
phone chargers,
Yes, I love that cell phone charger.
the 3-banger. I don't know why my phone case must be weird. Here's an original OG Truck Parking
That
Club
is
with
the original
center.
OG. That was the first one they gave me at Matt's 3
Yeah.
years ago, I think. That is the original
Yep.
Truck Parking
This
Club
is what
hat.
I wear this when I work on the trucks outside at my house in the summertime. This is the truck I paint. This is the hat I wore when I painted the
Oh,
truck and
gotcha.
stuff. Yep. When I did all the stuff, I wear this one.
Gotcha.
So I brought it down because I give them out too whenever I get the stuff, and they're like, hey, you want some stuff? I'm like, no, I already have one. They're like, well, give them out. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, here, take some hundreds too. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, Noah said the other day, he said, he said, you need any swag? I was like, I think I got everything you got. I said, can I take some to give out to people? I was like, yeah, take what you want. So I got socks. My wife already decided one pair is hers, and then yelled at me. She was the first comment on my last video when I said I had socks. She said, you told me I could have them socks.
Yeah.
I said, well, I got more than one pair.
Don't worry, there's plenty.
Yeah,
There's
I got
plenty.
more than one pair. So yeah, see me out on the road. I got all kinds of stuff. 4 State or.
Hey, why don't you tell
Newest
them about
member
their
of the
new
Mafia?
Shell Rotella deal they got going on?
I don't quite understand it.
I'll go get this
understand it.
pamphlet right
Gotcha.
here.
Gotcha. So guys, he told you his code, Keegan 20, all lowercase. Mine is Resources 20, and here's the thing. This is why this is a treat for you to find out in this video, because you use the code, you get $20 off, but it's not continuous. They're not going to keep letting you use the code. So we just gave you 2 free truck parking nights.
Yeah.
Anything under 20.
So this is offer valid February 1st, which is today, correct?
That is today.
Groundhog's Day. And what did Phil see?
No, isn't tomorrow Groundhog Day?
I thought they were
I thought
talking about
February
today.
2nd was Ground. I don't know.
I don't know. Either way, through June 30th, 2026 at any participating location. So you have to scan the QR code to find out the location. And I'll have him throw this up at the end or sometime in here. Maybe he can do an overlay because you took the big one, right?
I took the big one, and that was the wrong one. That was actually for, the big one that I took was actually for suppliers that supply.
Okay, gotcha.
Rewards they're doing for suppliers if you put things out. on your
Anyways,
counter.
you can get a Shell Rotella oil change and enjoy up to $100 of Truck Parking Club cash. So you can get qualifying Shell Rotella T6 full synthetic oil change and earn $100 in club cash, and or get qualifying Shell Rotella T5 synthetic blend oil change and earn $75 in club cash. Now you can redeem this club cash for parking at the the truck parking club, any of the locations, well, they're up to 4,000 locations now. I think they're up to 4,000, Noah said Friday, or maybe Reed told
No,
me
it keeps
that.
going up every time I talk to you.
Yeah.
By the way, Groundhog Day is tomorrow, February 2nd.
Okay, well, we're day off. But
Yep.
anyways, yeah, we'll put this, he can throw this QR code up so you can scan that to
Yeah, I'll
see
throw
where
it
the stuff is. Because I mean, if you can get $100 in places to park if you're a truck driver, you might as well take advantage of that and have, like what he said, I like to park for the truck parking club because peace of mind. I'm the same way. When I go to a truck stop, I can't stand sleeping there because all the riffraff that's going in there, and people who don't pay to park are slobs. They don't care about the place. They throw their chicken bones out. There's piss, there's shit bags, you name it. It's disgusting. Yep. Not only that, they clean out their trailers, or they just run into your stuff and then they leave because they don't care. I've seen it happen plenty of times. That's why I like having a cab over. I've already got the nose taken off, the hood taken off my truck, so.
Non-truck drivers do not understand just how dangerous truck stops are. They're like
No.
the hood everywhere. Like you could be perfectly middle of nowhere. As soon as you put a truck stop in, you like just formed a ghetto.
Pretty much.
It's like, yeah, it's
all the trash is coming.
Yeah.
No offense.
But do you know how many people do you think are at home right now watching this and they're going, would you guys shut the hell up and show me the International? Like you guys are trying to sell me on truck parking, you're trying to sell me on Fourth State. You turned your whole thing into a commercial.
Why don't you grab the camera and we'll show them that.
Yeah, let's start showing you the International.
That's kind of cool. There's some International right here.
And I'm not using a mic or anything, so I'm gonna face it Chad and he can show you whatever he wants to, but we're not gonna show you a whole lot of it. We're gonna show you this, and then you can go over to his channel or onto the Truck Parking Club channel. Let's see. I did just show it. Whoops, yeah, I did just show it. Whoops.
That's all right. That's all right.
I'm a fat guy, I covered most of it.
This is the International right here. Ba 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 ba.
Yeah, he's got it.
Now these are the new oh, you turned it off or you just showing it still?
No,
okay, these are the new Dayton 22.5 rims that you can get any style 22.5 to put on there versus the split 1020s that
yeah, you can see they're not just steely wheels, they're actually, you know, he's got the hubs on there. And
okay, go ahead and spin her around.
Yeah, no, just there it is.
So this is a 1978 International Transtar 2 4070B that I found in Muncie, Indiana, in a barn. Guy had it listed. He had bought it from his buddy who had owned it for 20 years. That was a farmer also, and this guy just used it to haul grain as a spare truck. His buddy had bought a in-dump trailer with the truck because it had a Muncie wet kit on it. So that's why after it was built in Fort Wayne, Indiana, it went down to Muncie, Indiana to get that stuff installed, and then it started off in Muncie, Indiana at a rock quarry. So after the rock quarry was done with it, they sold it to the farmer's buddy, who was also a farmer that used the end-up trailer when it was called upon. And that is why it's a local truck with only 133,000 original miles.
That is
now,
just
if you
crazy.
want to, we can do a quick walk around. Obviously, you can see I've got all the stuff stripped off the body because this thing has been painted once. And, you know, for being a truck parking club truck, it's not going to be red. This, I do believe, is the original bumper. And look how clean this thing is.
You think it's original, really?
I'm almost positive this thing's original.
Wow, that is crazy. Actually, let me.
If I could find some numbers, I'd love to look it up. But I do have the original build sheet for this truck from the factory, because this was built in Fort Wayne, Indiana, at the International Harvester dealership.
Wow, yeah, guys, he just told me that. I actually didn't know they thought that was original, but it is.
I'm
that would be really cool to think to see if it's. I mean, it doesn't. Yeah. That would be pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, everything else on the truck's original. It had the original, damn near original tires on it, it seemed like. Mm-hmm. I'm talking the rubber, but yeah, it was, the frame was in kind of rough shape because somebody had redone it, but there's no like serious rust on this truck. The engine is primed right now, but it all looked like this shaft right here. That's what the engine looked like, and then there was red flake on there. So this was 290 Cummins is what the build sheet says, but it has the aftercooler on it, so we thought it was a 350. The guy that I got it from thought it was a 350, but a gentleman that works out here and drives a 9670 International comes and says, hey, I think that's a Super 290 because it has the aftercooler, and that's what they would have put on with a Super 290 because the original numbers, unfortunately, the tag is off of the housing right here, so I couldn't see what it was, but the original engine block numbers is right here, what I have them taped over right now, because when I want to leave them open when I paint the engine and stuff like that. So it was a red engine, so it's going to go back to red. The frame was already black, so it's going to stay black. And I'm basically just reviving this truck. And what's crazy about this truck is it's a two-piece frame right here. See this?
Oh,
this is the front half and this is the back half, and there's about maybe 8 to 12 bolts right in here that are holding those two pieces together. So if you wanted to put air ride on this, you easily could, because all you'd have to do is unbolt this and you just pull that section back and bada bling, bada boom.
Wow.
You could slap something else on there. That's
I didn't know they ever
better
did that.
than cutting a slice right here and trying to wedge that together and then weld it. Because how many times have you seen pictures of people on the road that their frame snapped because they did a shitty job because they didn't double frame it, you know, just kind of like that one is, they didn't go forward. But yeah, if we'll go back, we'll make our way back there. But I basically
what's this thing, Chad? What does that do?
That's the cab jack.
I know that.
Yeah, that's a pump for the cab jack to raise the cab. And
yeah, every retired truck driver that's on this channel just yelled at me, being like, "You stupid! You didn't know?"
Yeah, it's got the old spokey 5-spoke Dayton's on there, and these things were full with crud, man. I had to go 58 down here because the balance was so bad. But like, the springs are in really decent shape too, you know. And the truck just had surface rust on it, basically like that's in there. That was it. And then some of the red primer was coming out too, and like this is kind of some of the spots. Like I would never be worried about stuff like that, you know, and I'm going to cover that up because I don't want to paint that. But we did have some rust jacking right here on the frame, but I'm not really worried about this because the fifth wheel's going to go back over there. It's going to cover. Is it going to come back? I don't know. But guess what? This truck's really not going to be outside. The only time it's going to see rain is if it gets rained on at a truck show, or they have to drive through rain, or it drives through rain to go to or from a truck show. Other than that, it's going to be stored in this building. This truck is this company's cornerstone piece, you know, and it's going to be their pride and joy. Yep. So I want to do things right, like get the frame on the outside and everything that you can see from the naked eye. I want as perfect as possible.
That is really
Other
nice
than
and
that,
smooth.
like stuff like this, I'm just going to leave that stuff because we want the truck to have some character, because it is 53 years old. So the PTO pump's coming off. There's the wet kit tank that was on it. I already unhooked the cables.
Who did that math? Because this truck is not 53 years old.
What is it?
I was born in 79 and just turned 47. This is a 78. It's 48 years old.
Okay, so I'm off. I'm off, what, 5 years?
I almost got offended by it.
Well, we were saying almost 50. I divided 26 by, well, I did 25.
Oh, why did you divide anything?
Because I'm slightly ignorant.
2026 minus.
Okay, so
guys, I am not in my 50s yet.
Yeah, you are. You're just lying. So
I just turned 47 last week.
The frame looked like right here, and I've even sanded this, but you see how thick somebody had laid paint on there and had all those runs? That's how this whole thing was. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean all this clear off with some probably paint thinner and stuff like that. Then I'm just going to pinstripe around that as a reference spot for these guys when they take it to shows. If somebody says, oh, somebody did a crappy job on your truck, or someone wants to be real nitpicky and they're like, hey, go check out that spot, I'll be like, yeah, that's what it looked like when we got it.
Here's the famous fifth wheel that blew up the internet because you didn't take it off with a...
Yeah, that's the plate. And this thing had a pile of grease like this because this thing got greased every time before it went out. And you know, you only have to grease the truck about once a month.
Yeah.
But this thing got greased every time it hit the road, and it probably hit the road
and
5 times a year. So 5 times a year this thing got greased, and it didn't need to get greased.
All this stuff that we're talking about that you know he's showing us, it's all been documented. The reason
my crappy math.
Yeah, the reason I know about it is because I was watching his channel. He told me some of it, but then I've been catching up on his channel and checking everything. So go to Chad Keegan on YouTube and you can find him there.
Yep, no fancy names or anything like that or gimmicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Pretty
decent
cool.
truck though. Starts
Yeah,
right up, fires right up.
The wet line?
What?
You want to talk about the wet line at all?
Oh no, it's coming off.
Yeah, it's
all
coming
coming
off. The tank is over there.
Yep.
What you can see in his videos.
Yep,
and then,
the guy, Donald, he has the 9670. He's got some plates at home for the transmission because I'm like, yeah, dude, I don't really want to go on a wild goose chase for a transmission this old to try to find one of those, because if I can't find one, then I'm SOL and I don't want to take it off. So I just capped the lines off and stuff, and I made it to where I unhooked the cables and stuff too, so they could never turn it on accidentally from the cab if a little kid was climbing around in there or something like that. But I'm just trying to make the truck as safe as possible, so the day that I don't drive it, somebody else does. They're not going to get hurt in it. But they're solid old trucks. They might just complain because it's like a bucking Bronco. You know? It's going to be like a bucking Bronco because they're used to driving Sprinter vans and stuff like that, and not anything like this. So there might be a day where like, hey, nobody wants to drive the truck. Will you drive the truck? And be like, sorry, dude, I'm busy. I'm down on the beach in Florida right now. But yeah, I primed up the engine here like that and stuff because it was all rough. It was so rough.
Oh, in your last video, you were just starting to get this cleaned up, and you got that all.
Yep, I primed that. Then I've got the this is ceramic coating that's like 2,000 degrees, but this is all 2,000 degree primer, and I didn't really need 2,000 degree primer because this thing's probably going to run, 180, 190. That's it. Right. So, but I did it just for my sanity, because like in the back of my head, I don't want anything to happen to it. But
why did I not ever think of tinfoil? The Blanca, it's flexible, it's pliable. You
just got to get thick tinfoil, because my ass went to like the Dollar Tree and bought a bunch of tinfoil, and this stuff is like thin. It's super thin, dude, and it rips. And I'm just like, oh, I've got a bigger tinfoil ball than I've got anything on here, and then I've got some masking tape on some that are smaller because I just didn't want to dick with it and stuff. By the way, guys, let me tell you something about Truck Parking Club and all their infinite wisdom. Yeah. Over here is a tank that was full of used motor oil. This place used to be a wrecker company. It's full used motor oil. Up there, let me show you here. That is the heater that runs off used motor oil. But they didn't know that. They didn't know that, and until Chad came, and Chad was like, hey, that hose right there, there's a pump right there, there's a cord right there that's running that thing that's dripping oil and leaking water, and that's where the heat is, because there's a thermostat over there. I'm like, man, there's a heater up there. I wonder if it runs off propane. Then I'm sitting there looking around on a Sunday when it's like 50 degrees in here and freezing my ass off. And I know 50 degrees isn't cold, but in Georgia it is. Yeah. And when you're standing on concrete for 8 hours, 50 degrees is cold, especially when the concrete's like 30.
But they emptied the tank.
Either way, they drained the tanks before I got here because it was just nuisance. So I had them get me a salamander.
They got rid of the used motor oil that heats the place.
But look at this. This is the original fifth wheel. Look how clean this thing looks. I did paint this, and I mean, this all cleaned up immaculate, but this thing was full of grease in here. These were full of grease. All this stuff, the Holland came off. This thing was just covered with grease. But like, I'm not done with this yet. So, but I did paint this stuff, and I mean, this was all original, like a silver, and it looked really nice. But Noah's like, no, I think it'd be cool black. And I said, okay, if you want it black, I'll paint it black for you. But yeah, it's going to be a beautiful fifth wheel, and then I'm going to end up, once I polish this all up, I'm going to throw some clear over it. So for the first couple of shows it goes to, before it actually hits, a trailer hits it, there's going to be some detail in it, you know what I mean? That's just going to tie the whole truck together, because I'm going to, I'm getting ready to knock the paint down so I can scuff and shoot the paint, because you can see the two-tone in it. And obviously somebody did a bang-up job right here, but this was the original color. Yeah, especially where this grill was on earlier today, so he actually just took that grill off. I took the headlight covers off, the grill, the badging right here. Let's see if we get the door. Check our coolant real quick, make sure we're full. Yep. I got to show you the shifter, because this has a 13 speed, and this is cool. This is the original shifter. Yeah, dude, this truck was the first time I ever drove one like this, because the blue truck had the old horseshoe one in it. Yeah. Well, yeah, I just hit my camera with it, but yeah, splitter on the side, and
Man, that's so cool. It's not really any different than what we have now. You know, the same hookup, same concept and everything. It just looks different, and I think it's so cool. Yeah, so.
Hey, why didn't you comment that on the channel if you watched the show the other day? Because I said sanding a 53-year-old truck frame.
I didn't even think about it till... I did not even think about it when
you
he
wanted
said...
to call me out on your channel.
Well, the thing is, Noah also called it a 50-some-year-old truck, and well, Noah's like, you know, 10 years old, so...
No, he's not. He's 21.
He's a kid. Is he 21?
I think he's 22.
I'm not sure how old he is.
Maybe 23.
Yeah, Noah's
young.
Those are kids. Here's a question. Here's a question for anybody who's ever met Hunter at one of these truck shows. Does he ever slow down?
No.
He is like 300 miles an hour.
I think he's on ether.
I think like he wakes up and jumps out of bed and he's like, "Woo! Let's go sell some truck parking and give away some swag."
Yep.
But he's a great guy. For those of you, if you've been to the truck shows, that's probably where you saw him. But where can we actually see this truck done?
This truck will be done at Matt's. This truck will be at Matt's. It'll be its first show. It's going to Matt's. When I stopped up and talked to Evan, he said, can you have it done by Matt's? I said, yeah, I could probably have it done in 3 weeks. But then I got the truck down here and I realized that I had 2 weeks worth of scraping grease off of the underside, and I had to change out the front axle pinion seal on the front and the back because they were both leaking really bad because there's just the balance was off and it wobbled so bad it just had the shake, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Dayton shake going on that it just ruins seals and it tears them up. And then we've got a leaky hub I got to fix. I still got to pull the interior and clean up. Here, I'll open the door and show you something cool. Now this is what blew me away the first time I looked at the truck. Right there, look at that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the original wire diagram schematics. You do not see those ever.
Sorry guys, my GoPro tries to keep level. I'm actually turned exactly like it is, but
yeah,
I got the leveling turned.
And
on.
I mean, the interior is fairly
is,
decent in there.
Yeah.
Besides the baby crap brown shag carpet's coming out because this is going to be stored down in the south, ran in the south, and it's nothing but a heat box. So I'm going to try to make it as cool as possible for them by eliminating that. Plus, I've got a few minor details of my own that I want to put in the truck that I think would just sex it up and make it look beautiful.
Is this an air conditioned truck?
This does have AC compressor on it, but there's no belt hooked up to it. So that's something that it's probably, the lines are probably bad and need recharged and stuff like that, or something's going on, and people who had it probably didn't, you know, want to fiddle with it because they kind of fiddled with other things that they thought they were going to fix and never fixed them. So it's just one of those things. But yeah, I told them about it and I said, look, you just take it to shop and have them throw a belt on and suck it down and see if there's a leak, and they can find a leak. But it's probably, if this is the AC condenser right here, there's probably a leak somewhere in here, which somebody could just unhook that, take this whole thing off, and you know, have it done, because this is basically like Frank's grill denser, you know, except it's back farther. So there's probably a leak in here. I mean, you can obviously see how the fins are on this, you know, by being dinged up. So I mean, it's a 48-year-old truck. Is that what you said?
It'd be 48 years old.
Damn near 50-year-old truck.
Yes.
That's what we've said. That's what we've said from the beginning, and then I said 53 because I thought, is it really? And then I started doing the math. So okay. One time I divided something wrong. Okay, because I did it. Who knows what happened?
Yeah. Frank's still on paper log, so he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't have.
Yeah, his math is really fake.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm really good at doing tips and stuff. When I get the bill back, I don't even get my calculator. I'll try to do it in my head just to keep sharp. But
yeah, well, you probably give him 3.
You know, honestly, I've been in this shop for almost 4 weeks now, straight over 4 weeks, and I've been huffing paint thinner and you know, primer, spray paint, paint thinner, you name it, all kinds of chemicals, dude.
Yeah.
PV blaster, brake cleaner. We've got a whole list of things to huff around here, but yes, I do wear the respirator and I do wear dust mask, but that doesn't matter because...
Hey, let's show this, even though we've been flashing up pictures.
Yeah, there you go. That's a picture of Frank when I first got it done. I was trashing it up.
When he kept the green, painted the black, but it was white and Green.
White and green.
Yeah, which you've seen in the pictures by now. So
Yep.
I haven't. I mean, I've seen it in his pictures, but you know, by now I've edited. So all right. Well, hey, I appreciate it, Chad. Oh, you know what? I was talking to Chad last night and told him that, you know, about the history videos that I do and how I have the collection. I keep the trucks up and everything. And
let's go over to that table over
yeah,
there.
yeah, we can do that. We're gonna move over here. Everything, and then he said, "Oh, I got a Landstar truck. I'll give you." And then he started going
collectibles. When I first bought my truck, the '83, I just went crazy, and I would go to antique stores and auctions and flea markets and anything that garage sales, and I just go picking through different things. And I was obsessed with buying old, small model trucks, you know, that you would play with when you were kids, because it was just a craze. And then I downsized all of my stuff because I had 3 china cabinets full of them, and my wife is like, you need to, and I was my grandma passed away and I got her buffet. I had the bottom section, all I needed is the top glass section, so I acquired that in, you know, the inheritance and stuff. So I put all my stuff that means something to me in that.
Gotcha.
And then I just downsized everything else, and I was going to sell them, but then, you know, things happened and I was like, okay, I don't want to deal with selling them, so I'm just going to take them down, because we're going to set up a museum here somewhere in one of these rooms that you can see old trucking paraphernalia and stuff someday, because you know, they want to use like the old muffler that came off the truck as, you know, something that can be seen somewhere. So I said, hey, I'll bring some stuff down, because I got a bunch of stuff that I just don't want no more. And then we were talking, and I said, you know what, let's go downstairs, I got something for you. And of course it was at the very bottom. And then I read off some stuff, because I went through all the things I had. I looked them up on the internet to see how much they were worth and where they came from and the manufacturer, and I got all the information I could, because all you have to do is pick up your smartphone and do that. And to be honest with you, if you do Google, you can actually snap a picture of it and it'll bring everything up and tell you the value of it. So you don't even have to even search. But all right.
Well, we're going through, so he showed me the Landstar truck, and then he named some others off, and I told him that I, you know, have a truck collection at home. So the Landstar truck isn't an actual Landstar truck. It's a pull truck from after Landstar bought them. And I think a lot of you guys probably remember that, or someday I'll do a pull story. I've done the Landstar story, but then he had this one, Nationwide Freight, which I haven't done yet, but of course I've done Consolidated Freight, and I don't have one yet. And he threw in the Goodyear truck. But how cool is it that Chad Keegan gave me a K100 Aerodyne Cabover Kenworth?
Yeah, you said you
That's
wanted
pretty cool.
one. If you were going to drive a cab over, you would want an Aerodyne, so there you go. You can drive that around in your...
Yeah, there we go. I'll drive it around the office for the channel.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll do that when I get it home. I'll just drive it around my desk for video. And yeah. Anyway, guys, I think we're going to call it here, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And again, where do they find you?
Chad Keegan.
Chad Keegan on YouTube. Anywhere else?
Facebook, Instagram. It's Keegan's 80, but it hooks up with well, it's Keegan's 1980, but it hooks up with yeah, there's a soccer guy or something like that named Chad Keegan that's more famous than me. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Usually if you start typing Chad and then K-E-E, I'll just pop right up. So.
Oh,
yeah, it's a picture of my blue truck, so that's what you'll see. You won't see that truck, but I'm the same guy. As soon as you see the playlist, you'll be like, yeah, that's him.
actually, there's a hot woman standing in front of it. But...
Hey, no, that's only on Facebook.
Oh, that's only on your Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm talking about on YouTube, but yeah, Facebook, yeah, you'll see my wife.
Yeah, there's a picture of his wife standing in front of the truck, but pretty cool. Hey, guys, thanks for watching. And again, I'm Rob from Trucking Resources, and you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Substack, and TikTok under the Trucking Resources name. And please comment, guys. You know, always be respectful. Man, these lights are weird. They keep turning.
Yeah, this one kicks off on me. So I'll be in the middle of doing something, and next thing you know, the light goes off. But then once in a while, I'll walk over, and it'll just kick back on. So that's why I have that spotlight.
Yeah. And so try to be respectful, you know, especially if Chad sees it, because he gets really mad.
I mean,
so he will
I'm nasty. I'm not very nice.
will be
I
mean.
don't like people who are new to my channel that think they're going to say whatever they want to me that don't know anything about me or anything about anything, because they probably don't know anything, but they think they know everything. So I kind of get a little snippy with people because I don't put up with
I
no
couldn't
BS.
even said that all in one sentence.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, Trucking Resources channel, you can find me on AM. Comment, go over to Chad Keegan on YouTube, and you will get to see this from when he started, and a lot of stuff of Frank and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, I've
from
got
the blue
4
truck and
playlists. One's of an old F-150. I think it was a 78 F-150 flatbed. My blue truck has a playlist, a K100. Frankenstein has a K100E or just Frankenstein playlist. And then Muncie is the TransStar because it came from Muncie. It had a Muncie wet kit. There's above the little light, that indicator on the dash, it says Muncie. So why not call it Muncie?
absolutely.
Makes sense to me.
So anyway, guys, thanks a lot. Go over there. You can also find this stuff on Truck Parking Club's Facebook page, TikTok.
YouTube
They are
channel.
everywhere. Yeah, YouTube. They are everywhere. So, all right, guys, thanks a lot, and I will catch you on the next one. Look, the lights just came back on.
Yeah.